Bro, I have no idea what I am doing. Uh, Hello everybody. Um, first podcast episode. I don't know what to name this right now, but we're gonna see what we can do right here. Um, but wow, I can't even spell my own script properly. That's actually crazy. Uh, Last Friday, I'm gonna call it CBL Crazy Friday, and it just happened with 5 games on the same day. That's I think the first in history. And I'm attempting a podcast right now because somebody in Reddit asked for one, and there's literally one other one currently for the CBL. Um, my goal with this and the channel is to provide content on Canadian basketball. Starting currently with the CBL and the CBL season done, and then probably going to move over to U Sports and NCAA college. Not NCAA. Well, no, if players are in the NCAA, then I'll talk about them. Then also I want to talk about uh the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association. I think is what it is, the CCAA, and everything in between. I actually have no idea about anything in between, like at all. Like I don't even know. I don't, there's not even a Reddit for that currently that I could find. So you guys can let me know. That'd be great. Um, but in this episode, I want to talk about the new updated power rankings, then recap of all the league news, just in case you haven't heard, and then we're gonna talk about one of the worst teams that I ever watched in my life win their first basketball game. And that'll be it for week 5 of the CBL. So let's start with the week 4. Wait, no. Yes, that's what it is. Then I'm going to tell you about the much watched game for this week, even though it's a bit late to watch at this point. I'm making this on Wednesday now. It's fine. So let's start with the power rankings for week 4. Um, Number 1 is still Vancouver Bandits. Let's just not even surprise at this point. They had a massive tear to start the season, and they're now currently 7-1, led by the Australian unit, Mitch Creek. He's averaging 22.3 points, 6.5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1.9 steal. And still on this Vancouver team, there's another person you should always look out for, and that's a deadly sniper, Kyle Magnus. He is just like an assassin from 3. Like, you won't even notice he's there in the games, and then he just comes in, catches the ball, pulls up, green. That's all you gotta know for that. He's shooting 46% from 3 on like 8 attempts per game, so it's pretty goddamn good. Number 2 is the Surge. Yeah, the Surge are number 2. You would think, oh yeah, but the Surge will beat Vancouver, so you think it'd be higher. But no, they've taken a second loss. But against who though? The Saskatchewan Rattlers. Yeah, you heard me right. Saskatchewan has beaten the Surge, uh, led by Nate Pierre Louise with 23 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals that game. And the Surgeon Wells sits second behind Vancouver in the Western Conference, with a record of 6-2. Third is the Niagara River Lions, who have really just not performed what I would think after winning the championship last year. Um, and guess who they lost to also? Yeah, the Rattlers. Saskatchewan takes another victim. Um, and this was their first win of the season for the Rattlers, and losing by 2, even though Kahil Ahmad came back and had a really good performance of this game with 36 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. Uh, and they're now 5-2. But still have the best record in the East because it's the Star Conference. I can't even read what I wrote right now. That's funny. Um, Number 4 is the Montreal Alliance, as they finally get to play another 2 games since the outdoor game against Ottawa, which they had a commanding lead um, on the tennis court. That's where they played it. If you didn't know, the CBL tried to open up a game outdoors, which I think is a fantastic idea. Like, weather's been kind of nice out in Canada recently, besides all the rain. That's what canceled the game. And they're like, well, let's just use this tennis court and put a basketball court on it and just get all the fans to come watch. And it got canceled because of the rain. And they have now won another 2 games, I think. The Honey Badgers they beat, which, dude, anybody and their mom could beat the Honey Badgers right now. They beat them 92-71. and the Stingers 105 to 83. And they overtake the Shooting Stars in the power rankings as they fall to number 5, losing 2 games this week. One to Niagara River Lions, 98 to 94, and second to the Winnipeg Sea Bears, 87 to 86, making the record now 3-3. I think they had like the easiest opening to the league right now, and it makes sense that they're finally getting beat on a couple of games. Number 6 is the Sea Bears with a record of 2-5, finally getting together after the fans have been completely confused about front office changes that's happening and team changes. Number 7 is the Ottawa Blackjacks. Nothing really note for this team. They were matched up against the 2 best teams in the league, the Surge and the Bandits. I wouldn't expect anything else from a mediocre team at best. Uh, and now from last to now 8th is the Saskatchewan Rattlers. They took a bite out of the River Lions, and the Surge's record now sit at 2-5. But like reality just kicked them in the front door, just like boom, because Vancouver's back and they beat them by 25 points. Number 9 is Edmonton Singers, who are also 2-5 after the loss to Montreal Alliance, and the worst team that I've seen, the Honey Badgers, at number 10 with a record of 1-7. Here's the big league news, just in case you've missed it. Captain Clutch is back. Because wow, that's good English right there. Let's reread this. Here's some big news, just in case you missed it. Captain Clutch is back. The man who got a sick game-winning shot against the Bandits last year for the Cup, and the one-time MVP and last year runner-up, Kilo Ahmad. He's back with the River Lions. If there's one man that could bring the Lions back to a championship caliber team, that's probably him, as they've been really underwhelming this year. And Quinndary Witherspoon, you might have heard that name before, former NBA champion with the Golden State Warriors, is signed to the Honey Badgers, and he's been decent on the team. I wouldn't say anything outstanding. Again, the Honey Badgers suck no matter what, but his assist to turnover ratio is really iffy. I think it might be just around like 2 assists for every 1 turnover, which is pretty high compared to like NBA current players. Like if you look at like a Trey Young, his assist to turnover ratio is like 3-1, which I think is a lot better than that right now. But he still has to get used to his new teammates, so I'm not surprised with that. The Scarborough Shooting Stars assigned G League guard Yuri Collins from the Santa Cruz Warriors, so another person from the Golden State Warriors. And I need to pull this up just to make sure I'm gonna quote it properly, because I think he's leading the league in assists per game with 7.8. He's played over 3 games. That's what I'm gonna go with. We're about 8 games this season, so over 3 games played is what I'm going to use for the metrics. I have this post on Reddit, and I also posted on my Instagram if you want to see who is actually league leaders, and he's there with 7.8 per game. The Montreal Alliance have acquired veteran point guard Tavian Dunn Martin. He averaged an impressive 18.5 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, and he played in the France Pro League, LNB, Pro A, and ABA League. And Winnipeg is blowing up their team currently, but Mason Boucher, is that Boucher or Burchard, has found a new home with the Stingers. Or is it Brochard? I don't know. Calvin Esprola has been re-signed to the Scarborough Shooting Stars. I probably butchered that name like the 3rd time in a row right now. 5'11" guard, averaged 3.8 points, 1.6 rebounds, 2.4 assists on 12 minutes through 11 games last year. Wait, nope, not last year. 2022. That's 3 years ago, I think, with the math properly. Since then, he's been playing for KFC. Yep, that's up what he's known as the KCC Igis in the Korean Basketball League, where he did pretty much the same. And then He won the Korean Basketball League Championship 2022 and 2023. I'm reading this for the first time. What the fuck is Ottawa GG alumni, bro? GG? Where's that, bro? Where the hell is GG? Why is it called GG? Why is Ottawa U called GG? I'm confused. What the hell is GG? It's a it's a horse. GG. Is it GG or Gigi? It's a horse. Used especially by children or referring to informally to horse racing. What? What is this? Dude, I'm on Reddit now. What the hell am I looking at? Bro, somebody got the McCain's and marble cake, bro. Yo, I actually would want one of those right now. I'm big, but like, why is it called GG's? I have to take apart 3 of this because I can't read. Jaren Harris, former 2020 Raptor NBA pick, 59th selected, 6'5" from Dallas, Texas, is back playing with the Winnipeg Sea Bears after last time he appeared in the league. He was on the Saskatchewan Rattlers, gaining him all CBL honors after he put up 24.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 4.6 assists. This was in 2023. That's the most recent for him. Uh, yeah. He's also spent the season with the Westchester Knicks and the Windy City Bulls. If you want to know, so it's another G League player signed to the league. Alliance acquire guard Don Martin. Let's do this all again. Former Montreal Alliance guard is now signed with Saskatchewan Rattlers. 6'6" Jordan Bowen. He's played previously 123 games in the NBA G League across 5 seasons, and now he's here to help the Rattlers, which I'm gonna say he did a lot since he's been here for a bit. Um, he's a stint in the NCAA, played 4 seasons with the Tennessee Volunteers. He helped them lead them to 2 March Madness appearances in his final season. He had 13.7 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Will be named second player of the week on November 18th, 2019. He ranked 24th in the program's total history points. That's pretty good. Um, he's played literally everywhere at this point. It's like he's played with 8 teams, and he's played with 8 teams and 6. What is this? Okay, he's played in the NBA, NBA G League, NBA Summer League, France, and he's now back at the CBL. And he's going to be a great addition. Well, he has been a great addition for the Rattlers and might be a key piece to make that team much better to watch. That's 8 minutes of me blabbering about 3 people. Like, oh, what? Cutting that up again. I found one more thing to talk about. I hope this will be good about. I was on Twitter and working it with hoops. Is how it has a post about 6'2" point guard Isaac Simmons, 2024. This kid is older than me by a year, baby. I know, crazy. And he's one of the best players currently in the CBL, Young Pros, and the U Sport division. He's a West All Star, and he's currently received multiple mid-major D1 program offers, which is great because the whole point of this league is for players to develop into good enough talent to go D1. G League. We've seen a lot of GP League players in the league. And we also see a lot of people from coming from the league going to G League. So this is great. We like to keep on seeing this. And currently, he was averaging at the University of Alberta 19 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and 1.3 steals. And you know what team he's on, guys? Saskatchewan Rattlers, whatever team he would be on, right? Um, and reading this report, he's a long, athletic guard who shot an impressive 64.4% at the rim last season. 60% of all U Sports players, which I think it was just crazy. Um, and I really hope to see him at a D1 level at mid-major school. That'd be great to see because it's another story we could start running with the CBL for more kids to understand that, hey, you can make it pro going through a different path than you think. Because when I was growing up, it was like I don't know a way to go D1. Like there's where I'm from, like there's you have no idea how to go D1. But now that I'm into the scene, like I'm realizing that like, hey, go to college, play in the CBL, and then it's the second player that I think from the CBL that's now gotten a D1 offer. I think one was just drafted and had to leave because he just got signed for something. Now I gotta go find it. Um, I'm not gonna be the quote this on this, but there's multiple ones that have been. Can't find it right now. What is this? There's another one that I had written down somewhere that they go somewhere else. But this is what we like to see. We like to keep on seeing people finding success in the league and then being able to D1 because that means there's more stories like this need to be published more because now kids can realize that hey, I can go D1 because most of those NBA talents you see that are D1 and go NBA, they didn't actually really play in Canada. Like if you look at like RJ Barrett and Andrew Wiggins, they were dominating in like a US circuit and then be living in Canada for a bit. So it's good to keep on seeing this. And all our kids also gotta realize that like, hey, you can still go pro in different leagues than the NBA and the G League. Like you got the Euro League, you have the Korean basketball league, you have the Chinese basketball team, which currently my team that I was playing for, like in the background, you can see Time for Hoop. They're currently out there doing their own thing, so that's good to see. And there's so many leagues to be playing in, so it's good to see. And I have to shout that out. And I guess I'm still here talking about Canadian basketball. I actually talked about the U16 boys who currently just ended their run in the FIBA U8 U16 run against the US as they lost 108 to 71. Um, but I would like to point out that like this is the next generation of Canadian athletes. So I think we gotta start talking about them a little bit more. And we had Praise and Kenyon and Liam who had over 10 points in the game. Praise almost had 20 in this game for the loss. The whole team shot pretty abysmal from both three and from two, like 30% from two. It's not the greatest thing to be seeing. And Jordan Fisher, wait, is he related to? Oh, he definitely is. He's 100% is related to Elijah Fisher. So he's not. This is nobody. This guy's not. Hold on. Like, this guy, bro. It's the nose, bro. I tell you that right now. Okay. All right. Like I'm looking up the kid, bro. Yeah, I think so. Jesus Christ, bro. Like I'm sorry. Like, dude, I want to be able to talk about these basketball players in Canada, right? I want to be able to talk about them so much. But for some reason, like every website has rankings and stuff in Canada, just are just a crazy bright. Like I'm not spending $200 to see your rankings. Like I'm sorry. Like who do you think I am right now? Be saying $200 to talk about some basketball players? That's insane. It's insane. Like cool. Here's your rankings for the classes, dude. But like I'm not spending that. Like I want to be able to talk about Canadian athletes, get them a platform, and then more people get interested in basketball. But spending $200 talk about people, it's just not it. But I'm gonna say that this is. I want to verify this because I was like, because I don't want to put this out here and say this is not him. Yeah, I think it is. On Pacific Tigers has Jordan Fisher as one of his siblings. That's probably him. Somebody can go correct that if he really wants me to. I hope they can. But I'm gonna go back to Canada and just talk about some key players that have been here in the league, and it's gonna be Isaiah Hamilton. He is actually like the currently like I think the best prospect from this U16 class that's currently on this team, as he averaged 21.2 points per game and 6.2 rebounds. So going to point out a lot. Jordan Fisher. Look, what's his efficiency though? Is this plus minus? He's a 20 efficiency. If you guys know what that means, you can go crazy with that. Oh my god, a 34 plus minus? That's disgusting. 32 points against what? What team was this? I'm being sidetracked right now. Brazil. Lord. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird he didn't play against US though. Huh. Yeah. I actually do think this game could have been a bit closer if the leading scorer for the team played though. For some reason he didn't play. It's really weird. Because I won't lie, before this he was averaging 20-ish points per game, but looks like he probably got injured against Venezuela as he only played. Yes, he had an injury, 8 minutes and 25 remaining the second quarter, and they still won the game. So if he came, it's probably not a major injury. He's 15. Like these guys are so young. These guys will come back and bounce back so easily. So I won't worry about that. Something just fell. I think it was a flower outside my window. That's kind of weird. Um, Let me get a report for this game though. We can talk about this a little bit more. Uh, U.S. wins win the cup and stuff. But that's fine. A 32-16 run in the second quarter provided decisive. That's not something you're supposed to be letting on. Basically doubling the points he scored in the second quarter. The other team, it's gonna be kind of hard to get. But let's get to the main meat of the day, and that is the Honey Badgers as they've beaten the Winnipeg Sea Bears for the first game. They had a 6-game losing streak, and they ended on the CEBL Crazy Friday, which I'm just gonna name it as 81-74. And the Sea Bears have now found themselves on a 5-game losing streak, despite the debut of Jalen Harris. This was written before the end of the week. This was recorded on this was written on Friday, like right after all the games happened. So everything else actually changed after this. I think they won another game after this, if I remember correctly. But let's just not worry about that. But Quindare Witherspoon, that the guy from the Golden State Warriors, was actually ejected late in the third. I was watching it because he got a double technical, and he had another tech beforehand. He got this tech because he was trash talking out of free throw line. And I think this fueled all the fire the Badgers needed to finally win the game, especially since they held the Sea Bears to an insane 3 points in targets on the winning game. Imagine a whole quarter and you score 3 points. 3 goddamn points. And to win the game. And David Mudcat with 7 points in the fourth and the 3 to seal the game. So he hit the game winning 3, outscoring them 21-11 in the fourth. So in the entire fourth, the Sea Bears had 11 points compared to 21. Imagine the game went to 21, he lost 21-11. He just kind of stink. I ain't gonna lie. And I think a lid was put on the basket for the Seabears in the fourth quarter, as in the first three quarters, Seabears were making majority of the 3 point shots. This was the biggest problem for the Badgers, as they just never step up in threes. Like every single game I watch of the Badgers, a guy can just be rotating in, get a ball, get a wide open three look, and it's just too easy for them. As 5 of the last 7 games, the opposing team shoots better than them from three, and as we all know, threes are better than twos. But I think now the Badgers need to focus on not the next game, but the game after, as I think the same problems will still occur. But on the Steeler matchup, though, that they have on June the 14th, where I think they have a good chance of pulling off their second win, it finally shift the momentum back in their favor. Now, and after that, they have the Rattlers and Blackjacks, which I think they can have a really good 4-6 record after this. Because the Rattlers aren't the best team in the league still, and Blackjacks are kind of an iffy team still, so we haven't seen much from them. Kobe McEwen is still lacking in his fourth CEBL season. This win, he puts up the points on the board, but 23 points on 35% for the field is actually abysmal. It's not pretty at all. Plus, he's overall taking 10.5 field goals per game and is shooting 36 from field with 3.8 turnovers. So I would like that to be up higher, because 36 is something we would see from a 3 point shooter, like 36% from three. But taking just regular field goals, like that's like what Grady Dick was shooting last season. So it's not something you want to see. And 3.8 turnovers for not, if it puts him top 5 in the league for turnovers, and he doesn't even like assist off the ball. My must-watch games next week is either the Montreal Lions versus the Scarborough Shooting Stars, or the Scarborough versus the Surge, as I think these will be the second and third challenging games the Shooting Stars will have this year. I think they'll have a cakewalk to start the season, but if I were going to choose one, it would be the Surge, as the team is so entertaining to watch, especially Greg Brown. Like I gotta get rid of this Michael Jordan poster for him, because he's like just every time he gets to the rim.